You keep wanting to know how things will play out, keep asking to see the future. It's like part of you believes that certainty will finally make you feel safe, finally make the next step easier. But life doesn't work on previews, it works on trust. That urge to control what can't be controlled usually comes from a very human place: fear of being hurt, of being unprepared, of losing something you care about. So your mind tries to run ahead of life, as if thinking hard enough could protect you from uncertainty. But notice what actually happens. You keep trying to see how everything will turn out. You replay conversations that haven't happened. You imagine outcomes that don't exist yet. You try to solve problems that may never even come. And in doing that, you leave the present moment behind. Control feels like safety, but most of the time, it's just an illusion. No amount of overthinking can guarantee a perfect outcome. It only guarantees one thing: you'll exhaust yourself trying. The truth is, life has never asked you to know everything in advance. It asks something harder and more meaningful: to show up, to choose anyway, to move forward without a full map. You want answers before the story even unfolds. But if you already knew every twist, every ending, every moment, would you still grow the same way? Would you still take risks, love deeply, or learn resilience? Some of the most defining moments in your life came from things you didn't see coming. Not all of them were easy, but they shaped you in ways certainty never could. So instead of asking, "How will this turn out?" try asking, "Who do I want to be no matter how this turns out?" That shift changes everything, because control is about outcomes, but strength is about identity. And when you focus on who you're becoming, steady, patient, grounded, you don't need to control every situation anymore. You trust that whatever comes, you'll meet it with enough courage to handle it. You don't need the whole story right now, just the next step. Because if you knew every heartbreak, every moment you'd be disappointed, every time someone wouldn't choose you, every ending that would quietly fall apart, would you still have the courage to begin? Would you still open your heart, knowing exactly where it would break? Would you still try if you already saw the moment it wouldn't work out? Maybe not. And that's the point, because some of the most meaningful things in your life started with uncertainty. You loved without guarantees. You showed up without promises. You gave your effort without knowing the outcome. And that's what made it real. Now think about the other side. If you knew every joy ahead of time, every win, every breakthrough, every moment things finally go your way, would it still hit the same? Would the tears feel as powerful if you already expected them? Would the victories feel earned if you knew they were guaranteed? Probably not, because it's the not knowing that gives everything weight. It's the risk that makes love deep. It's the uncertainty that makes courage real. It's the waiting that makes the reward meaningful. So maybe life isn't unfair for keeping the future hidden. Maybe it's giving you something better: a chance to live fully, to feel deeply, to grow through what you didn't see coming. You don't need to know how it ends to make it worth beginning. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is to step forward anyway, without certainty, without guarantees, but with the quiet belief that whatever comes, you'll become stronger because of it. When I really think about it, I realize that not knowing everything up front is part of what gives us life shape. If every answer were handed to us, there'd be nothing to wrestle with, nothing to choose, nothing to grow through. The tension I feel in the unknown isn't a flaw in the process. It's the very thing that stretches us into someone stronger and more intentional. Even faith, in so many traditions, isn't built on perfect clarity. It's built on trust, the kind that practice even when the path isn't fully lit. And maybe that's the point for us too. We are not supposed to have certainty at every step. We are supposed to keep moving, keep choosing, keep trusting that the not knowing is shaping us into someone capable of more than we can see right now. No surprises means no stretch. No stretch means no growth. And without growth, there's no real purpose in choosing anything at all. The uncertainty we face, the parts I can't predict or control, is actually what gives us choices meaning. It's what turns a decision into a turning point instead of just another step on a pre-written path. When everything is known, life becomes a script. When things are uncertain, life becomes something we actively shape. And that's where our strength, our direction, and our identity are forged. There's a balance we have to remember. Wanting clarity about the future doesn't mean we are weak. It means we are human. We plan because we care. We prepare because we want to build something real. Trying to reduce risk is part of being responsible, not fearful. The problem isn't the desire to know. The problem is when that desire hardens into anxiety or freezes us in place because we can't know everything. That's the moment we remind ourselves. Uncertainty isn't a threat. It's a condition of being alive. We can still move. We can still choose. We can still trust ourselves even without perfect information. Clarity is helpful. Certainty is impossible. And my strength is learning to act in the space between the two. Your idea works best when it shifts from, I need to know what will happen, to, I'll prepare what I can and accept what I can't predict. That's where peace tends to live. So instead of fighting the unknown, learn to live in it. Because being alive doesn't mean having all the answers. It means having the courage to move forward without them. So maybe the unknown isn't something to fear. Maybe it's something to trust. Because the truth is, the unknown is where every good thing in our life has ever started. Every change, every breakthrough, every version of us that we are proud of came from a moment where we didn't have all the answers, but moved anyway. The unknown isn't a void. It's a space that invites us to grow into someone we haven't met yet. Trusting it doesn't mean pretending it's comfortable. It just means believing that uncertainty isn't working against me. It's shaping me, stretching me, preparing me for things I can't see yet. And maybe that's enough reason to step forward, even when the path isn't fully lit. Because being alive isn't about having all the answers. It's about walking forward, even when you don't. That's the part we are learning to trust. We don't need perfect clarity to take the next step. We don't need a full map to move in the direction that feels right. Life has never waited for us to be certain. It's always responded to my willingness to keep going anyway. Every change, every lesson, every version of me that felt stronger or wiser came from choosing to move despite the uncertainty. So maybe the point isn't to solve the unknown before we act. Maybe the point is to let the unknown shape us as we go. Walking forward without all the answers isn't a flaw. It's the definition of being alive. And believing, somehow, that what's meant for you will find you, even in the dark. Because life has a way of moving things toward us long before we understand why. Doors we didn't expect to open have opened. People we didn't know we needed have appeared. Moments we thought were setbacks ended up redirecting us toward something better. None of that required perfect vision, just the willingness to keep going. So maybe we don't have to see the whole path. Maybe we just have to trust that the things meant for us don't need perfect conditions to reach us. They can find us in uncertainty, in confusion, in transition, in the quiet places where we still figuring ourselves out. Even in the dark, we are not lost. We are becoming. And maybe that's enough to keep going, trusting that the light will meet us halfway.